Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you've all had a great holiday week over the past week or so. Today is my last video of 2022, so I figured let's take a look back at the year that was, talk about some of what happened, the good, the bad, all that type of stuff, and just reflect on 2022 as a year as it relates to Overwatch, because it was a pretty big year, 2022, and so I figure, why not sit down and talk about it for a little bit. So, let's start with the big, clear, obvious thing that happened this week, or this year, which was the release of Overwatch 2 and the PvP betas, all that type of stuff. That all happened this year. So, when it comes to content releases, really big year for Overwatch. We got our first new heroes in 2 years. We got Sojourn, Junker Queen, Kiriko, and Ramatra. 4 new heroes. I mean, how many new maps? Like 7 new maps, I think. So, pretty good in that regard. But that's kind of what you'd hope for with a new game release. Obviously, the game release wasn't perfect. There was those issues on the immediate launch of stuff with like server issues and whatnot, and communication issues that have kind of persisted, unfortunately, since October 4th. But at the very least, we got that the release. We got some new content, of course, with it. I really liked what they did with Halloween Terror with the Wrath of the Bride. I think it's one of the best seasonal brawl type events we got, and I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy we got that. So a pretty good, honestly, showing for Overwatch in 2022 when it comes to just the release of the game and the content from the game. Really happy with it. Obviously, it's a huge change from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2. The game plays very differently. The monetization is different. The overall experience is very different. But I'm just glad we finally have more Overwatch content coming on a more regular basis. That was the biggest problem over the past couple of years with the game itself. Obviously, last year there was a whole bunch of other problems with Overwatch and Blizzard last year, but this year it was a very different situation where we at least got a new title with Overwatch 2, and we got to see how the game is growing and evolving for the future. And hopefully 2023 will bring a lot of cool stuff in that regard with Overwatch 2 PvE and whatnot. But so far, pretty happy with what we've gotten from Overwatch 2, and I've been really enjoying playing it. So that's always really awesome to see. When it comes to the Overwatch League and the Overwatch esports, pretty good year, I would say, all things considered. It was a little rough at the beginning, starting late with they were playing on a beta build and people couldn't play while the Overwatch League was going on. I think the worst stretch of the season was the Jotes meta, and it wasn't so much that it was the Jotes meta, in my opinion, but more so the fact that the last half of the season, pretty much, there was no Overwatch 2 for fans to play. So when the Jotes meta began at Stage 3, the beta was already over, right? The second beta ended during the Midseason Madness, and so when you got to the Summer Showdown and into the kickoff or the Countdown Cup, there was no Overwatch 2 to be able to play. So I think that hurt it a bit. When there wasn't that overlap, you couldn't really go and mimic what you saw the pros doing. That was definitely something that I did not really enjoy in terms of the Overwatch 2 and Overwatch League experience in 2022. But I do think this year was a really good year for the Overwatch League. We saw LAN tournaments come back with the North American region for the Kickoff Clash and the Summer Showdown, and also, of course, with the playoffs. That was really nice to see. I was really happy to see that we got LANs. And there were also some LAN games in general, like, there was the 2 Battle for Texas games that were on LAN, and there was the Seoul versus Philly game that was on LAN in South Korea, so that was really cool to see. I always love when they get to do LAN games. Playoffs is really good. The Grand Finals was the best one we've had yet. That was a really great series that we got there, so that made me very happy. I was very excited by what we got there. So like I said, I think this year for the Overwatch League was generally speaking pretty good. It was a very good year for the Overwatch League. I think there was a lot of things that the Overwatch League did that were not the best, of course, like I said, in terms of some decisions they made. But I think, all things considered, this was a pretty good year for the Overwatch League. I thought it was very competitive. I thought the metas were decent. Jotes was a little rough, and a lot of people did not like how meta Sojourn was, but overall, I think it was a pretty solid season. I think it was a pretty good year for the Overwatch esports side. I think one of the biggest things was Calling All Heroes. Obviously, it's a very recent event, but I thought Calling All Heroes was a fantastic event. I loved what they did with that. I loved seeing the representation there. I thought it was a really great tournament, really fun matches, really, really incredible play, I thought, in that tournament. And it was fun to see because a lot of teams ran kind of diverse compositions. They didn't just run what was, kind of the classic meta type of comps. Some teams did. There was definitely some more meta-heavy teams. But in some cases, you had teams that ran kind of some interesting stuff that was a little off-meta, which was always cool to see. So I really enjoyed that tournament and the Overwatch League in general in 2022. I thought it was a very good year for that. So that's always really nice to see, really cool to see. I think as we get to the end of the year, that's when we've started to see some more problems in terms of the Overwatch League. We've seen a lot of different stories and reports and stuff. It made me a little hesitant, a little worried about what's going on. Obviously, we did have the situation earlier this year with some teams like the Chengdu Hunters getting rid of other players, and that's just a thing that we've been unfortunately seeing a lot more of over the past couple of years, and then it kind of hit a point this year. And going into 2023, there are definitely some concerns, especially when you consider the situation in China with the NetEase deal falling through. We'll see what happens, but it is definitely one of those things that you look at and you just kind of go, "Oh, this is rough. This is not a great position to be in this regard." And there is definitely some concern and some worry, and like I said before, with the Overwatch team and their communication issues, that has carried through, unfortunately, with the Overwatch League as well. That I believe they have had some issues with communication. That's always, unfortunately, been a staple of the Overwatch team. They are not very great with communication, and I think that this year, going into next year, has been a pretty bad situation, and we're seeing how bad it's been, partially because there just wasn't anything to talk about for a while, and so they just kind of let it all slip. So, like I said, not perfect, but it's definitely been interesting to kind of see how things have evolved and grown. And it's always really interesting to me just kind of follow how things go and how year over year the Overwatch League changes and evolves and the esports scene evolves. And hopefully we get a more positive scene as we go forward, but I am overall pretty happy with what we got this year. Finally, I just want to talk a little bit about my channel and the growth of the channel this year. I'm really happy with what we did this year channel-wise. We, of course, being me and all of you who are watching this video, I'm really, really happy with the growth of the channel this year. A lot of people seemingly happy with my content this year. I've been getting some definitely more regular engagement from people that I've been very, very excited about, very happy. So I'm really, really thankful to all of you for helping this channel grow this year. This is not just me, it is all of us together. You guys help make this channel what it is, and so I am very thankful for the support for this year. Hoping 2023 is better than 2022. Always am hoping to improve upon what I've done year after year. It's always my goal to make my content just get that much better every year and make my stuff just, an overall better experience. So hoping you guys are enjoying the content. Hope you guys stick around as we move into 2023. Take a look at some of the rosters, whatever state they end up being in, and follow this wild ride that is Overwatch and the Overwatch League. And hopefully, like I said, 2023, better year, even more awesome stuff coming out from Overwatch. that's really it for me for today. I hope you all have a great New Year's celebration, whatever it is you're doing. And I'm thankful once again to all of you for the support, and just hope that you're all doing well. So that's it for me for today. Let me know, comments down below, some of your favorite memories from Overwatch in 2022, things that you really loved, things that really stood out to you, whatever it may be. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below, but that is all from me for today. Thank you all once again. Hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy. And until next time, bye-bye.